KDS is a forward-thinking, innovative, technology-only company. We've always been a partner of GBT as the technology underneath that partnership, but now, since the acquisition, we've just been brought closer together so that we're the technology wing that underpins the TMC services that they offer to global customers. Leisure travel and business travel are quite different. They have different objectives. And so some of the trends we're seeing is curation of content. When you think that a business traveler has a policy, then they have preferred suppliers that they have to use and a whole bunch of rules that they have to abide by, that's already been part of a curation process for the trips for the business traveler. And so what we're seeing now is that we're able to help curate trips for business travelers, and the business travelers that are our customers are responding well to having curated content so they can spend a lot less time booking the travel and a lot more time focusing on their day jobs. People are often slow to catch on, but I think we're seeing a lot more people following that idea of creating a curated view, proposing the perfect business trip for that user, and then allowing them to make changes on the go and afterwards. Well, we've been part of a consolidation in the business travel space. I think it's something that is happening and will continue to happen because innovative upstart companies can push the boundaries, test new ideas. They can really come up with new and exciting innovations, but they can't scale. They can't scale to meet the data requirements of large corporations. They can't provide the global coverage. And so I think the consolidation, certainly on the business side, will continue as new technology comes in. It's adopted by the business travelers as something they want to use. And the bigger companies realize that and incorporate that into their portfolio. So we see a lot of talk about natural language and a lot of talk about the voice and a lot of talk about chatbots. So we're staying on top of that. We're also seeing a lot of business travelers looking to bring some of that leisure. I hate the word pleasure. I just don't like it as a word. But we're seeing a lot of younger travelers trying to see how they can maximize their experience as part of their business trips. Certainly out of Europe, if you have an overnight stay at the weekend, it's a cheaper fare. And when we see users booking a complete door-to-door trip, they can change some of the parameters, and you can see how that total cost of trip actually comes down if they stay an extra night over a weekend. So decreasing the cost to the corporation, but adding maybe the chance to see some of the places that you're going to rather than just a hotel, the meeting, and the airport. We're seeing a lot of people experimenting with the idea of enjoying the trip beyond purely the business part. Another trend that we're seeing is that all of the players who were just previously offering booking tools for the corporate users are now either partnering or acquiring expense technology. We think that the user experience needs to improve on the expense side and keep up with the consumerization of the travel booking tools that we're seeing in corporate space. They're the kind of trends that we're seeing and reacting to as part of KDS.
For us, the travel experience is very important, and if you have look at our product, KDS knows everything around the traveler experience. The good thing that we have today with GBT, and it is that with GBT and KDS, we can offer to our customers and the end users a seamless experience of traveling. So we are working a lot around the personalization, and we can see in the leisure side that we are used to have a lot of personalization and individual experience. But at this, we are trying to have this personalization taking in account all constraints that the corporate have and give to the end user the best experience of using our tool.
So the big difference in personalization for a business traveler and a consumer traveler is that the amount of data that's available for consumer trips is huge. I mean, I don't think people really understand how much personal data is being used to create that personalization of the service in a consumer world. In business, we do have a whole bunch of regulations that stop us using personal data. And if anything, that is only going to increase over time. I think we're going to have more constraints on the type of data we can use to be able to personalize options. The other big difference between consumer travel and corporate travel is when you want to test an assumption and to see if that personalization is really working, it's really improving the experience. In the consumer world, it's all about conversion. You say, if I do A, does it lead to more conversion? A very simple kind of easy to follow equation. Does improving X increase conversion in Y. Whereas in business travel, sometimes conversion isn't what the company wants. They want to be able to save money or use money appropriately. And so it's a lot more nuanced about how you use the personalization in order to drive something that's great for the traveler, but also great for the corporate. And despite that constraint, the good news is that humans are actually quite predictable, especially on business trips. So once you know the corporate policy, you know the preferred supplier, and you can look at their past behavior and look at the behavior of their colleagues across that company, we can make quite high probability chances of picking the right trip or the right hotel component for that business traveler. And in fact, we're seeing that not only do people like the fact that we're proposing these trips, I think 60% prefer to be proposed a complete trip as opposed to build it themselves. But once we've proposed it, they're doing one-click bookings and just picking that content as is. The thing is, sometimes the booking tool takes the heat for the applying the policy, right? So sometimes a traveler confuses the company's policy with the technology and what's available. So I think there's a lot of things that corporate travel managers should be worried about. I think one of them is how the policy is communicated. I think that in fact, 90+% of business travelers don't want to be a miscreant. They don't want to be sitting on the naughty step, or they don't want to be in trouble. They want to do the right thing. But sometimes we make it hard for the traveler to do the right thing, either because they're not given enough information or the tool itself isn't helping them make the right choice.